Hi, this is Carol Hood-Rodsky, and on today's presentation we're going to discuss 21st century teaching and learning. And we can't do that until we first define what Web 2.0 tools are. According to Wikipedia, Web 2.0 tools is a term that was coined in 1999 to describe websites that use technology beyond the static pages of earlier websites. It is closely associated with Tim O'Reilly because of O'Reilly Media Web 2.0 conference, which was held in 2004. Although Web 2.0 suggests a new version of the World Wide Web, it does not refer to an update to any technical specification, but rather to cumulative changes in the way software developers and end users use the web. A Web 2.0 site may allow the users to interact and collaborate with each other in a social media dialogue as creators of user-generated content in a virtual community, in contrast to websites where people are limited to the passive viewing of content. When we look at Web 2.0 and compare that to Web 1.0, we want to look at the examples of Web 2.0. Web 2.0 includes blogs, wikis, and social networking sites, as we stated. Web 1.0 included websites, email, letters, donate, and donate now buttons. Those are all examples of Web 1.0 buttons. So some differences are Web 2.0 are web-based, Web 1.0 are application-based. Web 2.0 are collaborative, Web 1.0 are isolated. Web 2.0 are online, Web 1.0 are offline. Web 2.0 are free, Web 1.0 are licensed or purchased. Web 2.0 involve multiple collaborators, while Web 1.0 is a single creator. Web 2.0 is open source, while Web 1.0 is proprietary code. And Web 2.0 shared content versus Web 1.0 copyrighted content. So that's the difference in 1.0 and 2.0. There's a shift from a static to a dynamic web in which communication has shifted from mostly one way to a web that allows for interactivity and creativity, and that is what Web 2.0 has done for us. Thanks to the relative low cost and ease of access to technology tools, Web 2.0 has democratized the global economy. Workplace jobs and skill demands are changing. We need to ensure that students are qualified to succeed in work and life in this new global economy, and that is per new tools and new schools. Standards that reflect content mastery alone do not enable accountability of 21st century skills. An expanded approach to assess these skills is necessary to ensure accountability of the schools, and students cannot master 21st century skills unless their teachers are well trained and supported in this type of instruction. As demonstrated in our reading and our PowerPoint presentation in our learning lesson 1 of our class this semester, if we are to compete on a global spectrum in business, we must adapt our teaching and learning to include Web 2.0 tools. As businesses are requiring employees to be more and more tech savvy and flexible in their mobility, as the P21 believes, keeping the 3 R's are important, but the education system must adapt to include the other vital competencies, the 3 C's of communication and collaboration, creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving. Education must evolve as the rest of the world is already passing us by. When applying Web 2.0 tools to 21st century teaching and learning, we must remember the need to include constructivist pedagogical style. Constructivism views learning as a process in which the learner actively constructs or generated new ideas or concepts based upon current and past knowledge. Students build on what they already know and what they learn. Teachers encourage students to think about what they already know about a topic, search for new information, and collaborate with others to solve realistic problems and derive new understandings. An example would be wikis. These allow students to collaborate on creating a document that displays what they've learned. An example would be project-based learning. This is a constructivist approach that encourages learning in depth by allowing students to use inquiry-based methods to engage with issues and questions that are rich, real, and relevant to their lives. The emphasis is on learning activities that are long-term, interdisciplinary, and student-centered. The students form a learning community that focuses on critical thinking and is expected to use technology in meaningful ways, engagement in activities that are valued in the real world, management of their own tasks and time, work as a part of a team, and communicate with adults and experts. By learning in this manner, the students accumulate content knowledge and thus remember what they have learned. Teachers offer resources so that the students can explore and develop content purposefully and creatively. An example would be using Web 2.0 services such as social networks to interact, share information, and learn collaboratively. Keeping with the theme of constructivism, if we were to look at David Perkins' article from Educational Leadership titled The Many Faces of Constructivism, we would see the advantages of the constructivist approach. And these include providing a better way to teach and learn as compared to traditional teaching methods. Researchers and teachers note persistent shortfalls in students' understanding and a great deal of passive knowledge across all ages and grades, including at the university level. The philosophical argument is that the stimuli that we encounter, including messages from others, are never logically sufficient to convey meaning. To some extent, the individual has to construct or reconstruct what things mean, and therefore it makes sense to organize learning to reflect this reality. Considerable research also shows that from a psychological standpoint, active engagement in learning may lead to better retention, understanding, and active use of knowledge. Collaborative learning, although not always fosters learning. At times, engagement of students in discovery or rediscovery processes energizes them and yields a deeper understanding. Although there are some disadvantages to constructivism, timeliness, the techniques often require more time than do traditional educational practices, causing teachers to feel pressure and make compromises. Asking learners to discover and rediscover principles can lead to the student discovering the wrong principles. The constructivist learning experience can exert high cognitive demands on learners, and not all learners respond well to the challenge. At times, they can seem deceptive and manipulative. But to avoid these, we need to consider, when designing instruction with constructivist approach, to include the following. The instruction is firmly grounded in a real-world context using real-world tasks, and the clear relationship between each instructional task and the real world is consistently maintained. Instruction provides enhanced motivation for learners. Being aware that a potential problem with problem-based instructional approaches is that learners become overwhelmed by task complexity, causing a level of cognitive load that interferes with learning. An instructional approach useful for creating appropriate levels of cognitive load is scaffolding. Presenting performance supports as needed to achieve a goal, then fading them away as the learner is able to achieve the goal on their own. The use of worked-out examples in which cognitive load is reduced by having learners complete small parts of worked-out examples, then progressively complete larger parts of additional worked-out examples until the target task is met. The teacher keeps in mind that the constructivist view of assessment is focused on measurement of learning that has value beyond the classroom and meaning to the learner, provides a learning experience in its own right, and is guided by legitimate standards and criteria. To summarize, the factors that a teacher should take into consideration as they design instruction with a constructivist approach is that there are three distinct roles of the learner: the active learner, the social learner, and the creative learner. And there are four different types of knowledge: inert knowledge, ritual knowledge, conceptually difficult knowledge, and foreign knowledge. And we must tailor our teaching to ensure that all learners, no matter what learner they are, is successful. Many Web 2.0 tools have potential to enhance classroom instruction, communication, and the overall appeal of a 21st century classroom. For example, wikis. These allow people to edit someone else's work. This enables the teacher to create cooperative learning experiences that feature peer editing. Wikis retain previous versions of student work that writers can revert to. This prevents the edits from writing over the original permanently and losing words, ideas, or manners of expression that might actually have been the better way to say something. Wikis keep track of everyone's individual entries and edits. This allows the teacher to track students' work and of what caliber each member of the group contributed. A wiki has an open structure and allows others to change what one person has written. The openness may trump individual opinion with group consensus, and each page on a wiki has an edit link. So if you want to change something on the page, a simple click of the link and the wiki will display an editing screen. Make the changes and click a button. The changes are complete. They're very easy to use, easy to read, and easy to understand and use in the classroom. You can use blogs in the classroom. Although not editable, we can add to blogs. Somebody poses a point, asks a question, and then everybody can respond to that, and collaboratively the classroom can answer that question. Social media, things like Twitter. Businesses use Twitter now. Classrooms can use Twitter. Everybody gets their what they call tweets out and can interact. It's very collaboratively, but you're on an individual basis, and it's the interaction of the student with the teacher and the whole classroom. Even schools can have Twitter links. And these three examples of Web 2.0 tools goes back and reinforces those 3 C's of communication, collaboration, creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving. This is the way of the world. This is the way the businesses are run today, and we must prepare our students to be successful adults in business. And the only way to do that is to prepare them in the classroom and instruct them on how to use these tools, which most of them probably know how to use better than some teachers, and how to apply them and why they can be useful in a positive way. My organization is very tech savvy. We've come a long way in the world of technology. Even the past 2 years, I've seen things grow. We now have an app called the MyCigna app, where our customers can log into and anywhere in the world use this application. They can find through GPS local pharmacies that are covered under our insurance plans. They can find charts and graphs that show their spending accounts, how much they've used out of their spending account, how much is left, which will help them plan better for their care the rest of the year. And those are updated quite frequently. You can look at statements if someone's had a surgery and wants to see a breakdown of the statement that we usually would get in the mail in the past. Now you can just go onto the website and everything is calculated there for you. It's very convenient for the traveler. It's interesting that I'm doing this project at this time because we actually had one of our top people in our company come in yesterday and discuss where technology is going for our company and where it's taking us. The Fitbit, people wear a Fitbit, and it's a way to track your exercise and your sleep patterns, and that can be downloaded right into the computer, and we're looking at using that to register our customers onto our website to upload their Fitbit information, and that allows us to know where they're at with their exercise and their health, and where we need to work on, what we need to work on with them, and what we need to discuss on our calls for our nurses and our health educators that do what we call coaching calls to help them get to better health outcomes. So technology is going someplace. I mean, I can't believe how much it's grown in the past 5-10 years. But if our students in our country are not prepared, we're going to get passed by for jobs, for business, for anything really. Everything's tied to technology. So it has to start when they're young, and as teachers we need to get comfortable, which I'm not a teacher, but our teachers do need to get comfortable with technology in order to be successful. Thank you so much for listening.